Hey guys, how are you? This is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, EBM from EBM Scholars Show. Today we have a very important guest in our show. I have been talking about Green Card Lottery and encouraging people to apply and win. It is very difficult to win. Sometimes we say it is easier to be stricken by the thunder than winning the lottery because the odds of winning is very, very high. But we have important guests. The guest himself, he is going to introduce in a few seconds, but he is the winner of Green Card Lottery. And I live with him in the same house. So, introduce yourself.
My name is Christoper Masami. I am Green Card holder, and I win the Green Card since last year, and I have been in US for a year now. And this is my Green Card, so I want to show you guys and prove that these things are real and possible. If you try it, you can win it.
Yes, yeah. So, this is the winner. He applied for the first time in the year 2016. He didn't win, and he didn't quit. He applied the next year, 2017, for the DV lottery of 2019. So, he won. He processed for the 2018. So, he came here in October. Was it September? September, end of September. Before September 21. I remember it was the last week of September. And he lives with me here in the same house. So I said, this is the best way. Let's talk about Green Card Lottery with the person himself who went through the same process. For me, I'm the behind the scene. We work together on how to apply and all other things. And then he's the one who went to the interview, did all the processes. But I'm going to interview him and ask a few questions so that we can be able to hear from the person who won. So, as I said, you applied the first time, then you applied the second time.
Yes.
And I remember I was the one who called you and tell you that you were the one, you have won the Green Card Lottery. What was your feeling when I called you? Because for me, I was so excited. I didn't sleep. I was waiting, and I called you. It was not even morning. It was still very night.
It was night. It was late night, and the day was very amazing, and it was a surprise because I didn't expect, and I was almost forget about the green card because I thought about other stuff like studying masters. So once I received your calls, why he called me at night? So I think maybe there's something maybe happening in the family. So when I hear you won a green card, it was.
Because on my end, after usual, that's what I tell people all the time, that once you apply the Green Card Lottery, forget about it and continue with other things. I remember after you were continuing with other things, you already applied, you went for the interview for the Fulbright for other program.
GSD.
GSD. And then you are applying for other program, you are planning to take a GRE. Yeah. So you are already continuing with your life and applying other things. And then I was going to check the results, it was, you won. So that's what I tell people. Once you apply for the lottery, don't start every single day like thinking about America. I'm going to live in Chicago. I'm going to live in LA. Don't think about that. Just continue with other plans. In case you win, it's good. If you didn't win, you apply next year. That's why when he didn't win it the first time, he didn't quit. He applied the next time.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So I want to ask him another question. So after knowing you won, then I know the process you have to wait for a long time. Yeah. So how was the waiting time and how did you start to prepare yourself in mind? Like, okay, now I'm going to America. I know he's not the first time to come to America. He was a Fulbright scholar before, and you were here for 1 year.
For 1 year. So this was the second time. The first time was 2013.
2012 to 2013.
No, 2013 to 2014.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that was the first time, and this was the second time.
Yes. So I know the preparation will be different from someone who is coming for the first time. But even if, like, now you are coming as a permanent resident, not just, okay, now I'm going to have restriction of how many hours I work or what kind of job I'm going to work. I have to work on campus. But now you don't have that restriction. How was that in processing in your mind, like you are planning to do in America?
I was planning a lot of things, but the most important thing is to be focused on the important issues, because when you are thinking a lot of stuff, and that will be bad. So the issue is to be focused and to hear the information from the person who is, I think, the right person who can guide you and give the correct information, because most of information are not good. So it can the information themselves can lead you to the grave. So the important things during the preparation is to connect with the correct persons, so that to get the correct information, which will guide you and determine what you're gonna do once you get in United States. Yeah, I think that was the most important part.
Yes, and that's what I usually tell people, like, not everyone, because he's in America, can give a good advice.
Yeah.
That's another thing you have to consider.
Because they have different status also. So
yes.
He can be in America, but he's also illegal. So,
or you can be even a U.S. citizen, but a U.S. citizen doesn't know about these procedures. So there are certain things, like either someone really studying or went through the process. For instance, for you, if you advise someone who is going through the same process, is easier. But American citizens, sometimes it's very difficult because they do not know about immigration themselves, unless otherwise he's a lawyer.
Yeah, that's correct. Because and most of them, they do not follow much about this. What I know is most of the outsiders, most of maybe Africa and Asia, they know a lot of stuff in America than America themselves. So it is better to connect with the correct person, a person who knows, a person with knowledge, who can assist you, can guide you to the good direction.
I usually tell people, like, if you need advice, you need to get advice from someone who has too many qualifications. Number one, the person has a good intention. That's number one. Second one, a person who has a technical knowledge, either studying or going through, has experience knowledge about the same thing. Because if you go to Cristiano Ronaldo while he was in Barcelona, he's Madrid, playing against Lionel Messi, if you he's going to ask Messi, how can you tell me how to beat Barcelona? Okay, Messi knows the football and how weakness of Barcelona, but intention cannot say, okay, this is how you can score against us. Yeah, you see, so you need to have advice from someone who has a good intention, but also can be able to give the good direction. Yeah. And that you have to know, like, again, even you come to America, like Christoper said, there are some people who have been here maybe illegal, or some people, they went through a very long journey until they became citizens. Yeah, so they want you to toil, to suffer too. So we have those people too here in America. So not because someone is in America, is going to give you advice, you just follow it. Just get from different areas, from different people, and sit down and start to deduce and to make a plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go to another question. Then everyone wants to know about the interview. When you went to the interview, how long the interview itself, since you were in front of the consular officer, how long did it take? How many minutes?
It took like 5 minutes because it was not a long interview. They just because the interview itself is guaranteed, so there is no way they can say no. And it's like 5 minutes. They just asking me about. They just ask about maybe the address. Where are you going to? Is like maybe Missouri. Is this correct address? Are you sure this? Yes, I'm sure this. Okay. Do you have any maybe criminal record? Do you have any crimes or whatever? No, I don't have. And I submit the
police clearance record.
The clearance record, the clearance form. So there was no maybe a lot of question compared to other kind of
yes, and that is the one of the area which when I talk to people about the green card interview lottery, if you win the lottery, it's kind of a guarantee as long as you are not criminal, as long as you have the either 2 years of work experience if you don't have high school, or you have high school. So for you had already a degree and you have work experience, so it was not a big deal at all. And one of the things people are usually, like, I get confused is about confusion between green card by marriage documentation and green card by lottery. Because by green card by marriage, I have to show my wife, or the American person has to be a sponsor for that. Meaning has to provide the tax return to show you have certain income above the poverty line. But in green card lottery, there is no such requirement. But some of the embassies, they might ask you to bring that one. On the interview, they say, okay, go and bring this information. But in the official documentation of what you were supposed to submit, you don't need to submit. So when I was sending my documentation, I tell you, if they need this information, you can just give to them, or you can just let me know. But they don't. There is no the information about my finance.
They did not ask about finance, the finance of the host, or maybe maybe any tax returns for the tax record or tax return for the host. So they just focus on me and the address where I'm going to,
so that they can also send the social security card,
correct.
And also where this green card, where this card will be sent, because that's on the form DSC 260 you have to put the address where you're going to stay, among other things, where you will be receiving the card, where are they going to send the card. You can say that way, and then you can go to another address, because when the address I gave you, I used to live in Kansas City, in Kansas side, but then I bought the house in Missouri. So the address during the interview, you had this one, but when you came here, we just already changed the address. So there is no problem if you change address later on. And even when you come to the airport, they don't care much as long as you have the correct address. Like this is the person I'm going. They're not calling me. They didn't call me.
Yeah, they didn't call you, and they did not care about that, because I think they look other stuff, like maybe tickets, maybe security stuff and so forth. Maybe, there is not a lot of bureaucracy on that. No.
And another thing is about when you are arriving in the US. This is one of the best moments for me, usual. I remember when I was coming for the first time, I was having the same kind of visa, Fulbright, so you come as international, basically. And even you come as an international student, or you come as a visitor, there are two lines. There is a line is called visitor's line, and then there is a line US citizen, permanent resident, and Canadian citizen. So as a green card holder, for the first time, you'll be coming to the line of permanent resident and US citizen. Is that where you went the first time?
Yeah, no, but I think they took me to the visitor line. I'm not
but
sure.
They're supposed to move you back later.
They took me to the visitor line. Then they correct all green card holders. No, not holder. We are not able. They call all green card
winners.
Green card winners to the special special person, and we wait there for the other process. I told them why are supposed to be in the visitor line instead of they told you don't have card.
You don't have card yet.
If you have card, you should go there, but you have visa, so you have to process this. You have to undergo this process. But next time when you come in US with a card, you go there, because you have to. I like to sweep the card to the.
They usually it has a chip like
chip,
here.
So you have to sweep.
Yeah, just
the
like
card.
a passport, like it has a certain chip. Sometimes they can swipe like
so
kind
you have to swipe the card to the certain machines. So you don't have that. So how can you swap that? So that they can maybe retrieve your information and so forth. I said, oh, okay. But so
and usually sometimes they say, "Welcome home." That is one among the best parts. It's different when you are coming as a visitor for the first time. They'll tell you, "Welcome to the United States of America." But when you are arriving there, they welcome home, because they know you are permanent now. You are coming here. So, as I said at the beginning, everyone in the preparation, okay, when I go to America, I'll be doing blah, 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 blah. But what is the reality after arriving here now? I know, forget about the time you came as a Fulbright, you already having a job. You didn't look for a job, but now you have to look for jobs. In Tanzania, you have a degree in education, you have a degree in law.
Yeah.
So was it easy now you become here, you become a lawyer, you become a teacher, school? How was it in looking for jobs?
I think the reality is different, because in the US they have a completely different system from British and even French and whatever, and they're trying to make themselves unique, so they have to undergo other regularities, under procedures. For example, being a lawyer, it needs there is a different, maybe the legal system is different, so you have to undergo to be familiarity with the American law. So you can't be a lawyer because you know nothing about maybe procedures. So they have faced to undergo a certain procedure, certain training, certain certification, and even other stuff. Maybe having being an accountant or being a teacher, you have to undergo a certification. So you have to take, you have to go to these procedures faced. It is not overnighting process. you can be anybody in the state, but it doesn't take overnight process. It take times. That is what I experienced, which is different from the first time.
Yes, yeah, that is a very good one. That's why even myself, I came here as a Fulbright like you. So the first time it was easier. You have a job direct from day one.
From day one.
And then I became a student. Then after finishing, you face the reality. You are looking for jobs. So even if you... So first of all, our education is completely different, but you don't have enough work experience in the US.
Yeah.
So you find someone in the US has been working since he's 15 or 16. So even if it's finished
competition,
bachelor,
the competition becomes a little bit difficult because you study law, but they have someone who study law also, so he has also experience in working in US, and you don't have experience, so you have to first to find the experience of working.
And even sometimes, like for instance, let's talk about law. For instance, like sometimes you study law, okay, you study about human rights, but remember, we are African and we have our own African human rights. And you find out even like a husband to beat a wife, you go to the police and the police is asking you, why don't you respect your wife, your husband? Like, really? But here there are certain things they are so important, but in Africa it's not a big deal at all. So if you want to practice law, how are you going to practice it? Unless otherwise, there are certain things like you have to take a little bit of time, take a little bit certifications, catch all those things. Yeah,
even the system of tax is different. So even maybe
accounting
or whatever, African tax or Tanzanian tax is completely different from US tax. So you have also to know the procedure, how they have to deal with their tax and so forth. So you have to take time.
Yeah. So for that case, when you arrive here, don't jump and start taking student loan. Okay, now my plan in Africa was to become human resources officer. So let me go to school. You can get a loan from day one. They don't care. They will get their money back. But the problem is if you jump with the thinking from Asia, thinking from Latin America, thinking from Africa, that, if you study the big Bachelor of Commerce, you become accountant to get a lot of money. What if here is not a big deal? So take a little bit of time. There is no rush. Create your own blueprint and timeline. Okay, I'm taking this law. Let me understand maybe at least a year. Then after that, I might choose now what I'm going to do. Like in terms of like if I'm going for further studies, unless others get a scholarship. But if you are taking a loan, for instance, or you are paying your own money, you have to be sure of.
Yeah. Time also will assist someone to know maybe this career is well paid in the US or not, because you can take certain career but it's not well paid than you think, or well paid compared to your country. So at least a little bit time it will be good for you to make a good selection and to know much about.
Yeah, and one thing, there is a friend of ours, the guy I told you who is in South Korea now, Rumbiza, is a friend of ours. So he won the green card lottery. He's coming. He's Tanzanian, but he's studying PhD in South Korea. He'll be staying with us here. So someone like the guy who is coming to US, is coming here, will be in 7 days to come. The first week of November, he will be here. November 1st to be exactly, but someone like him or someone who has won, what advice do you give someone who is now getting ready, packing the bags, waiting, counting down the days to come to America? Like the first thing, like if you are coming here, what things to do, what things to avoid in order to succeed in America? Like just few things, like tips, like what do you think will be easier way to take your time to succeed, or things, if you do these things, you might end up in so much trouble?
I think there is a little difference between American in movies and American in reality. So the most important is to focus on the important goals and the important things and the legal things. That is most important things in the US. So in order to succeed, first you have to be committed and hardworking. There is no way you can succeed in America without to be committed. You have to be without commitment and hardworking. That is important issues. So maybe after having a card, a green card, and you have to maybe focus on transportation, how to handle transportation and other stuff like that will be helpful to move here and here to work and so forth.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing also that one. And there are so many, like as we said, overall is about law. And there is no about, I didn't know. Because ignorance of the law is not the defense.
Yeah, it's not excuse.
So for that case, don't like come here, I didn't know. you know, in Africa, you can just go and pee across the road, whatever.
Yeah,
if you are
yeah.
caught here, you are going to be put as a sex offender on the list. If you do, like, you go to beat a woman, you'll be in so much trouble. It's not about, oh, we used to do this in Africa. Yeah, we are not in Africa. Even if your wife is still African, you are in America, you follow American law.
Yeah.
You can also, oh, in Africa, you go to the bar after work, and then I just drink, and then I go to drive a car. You cannot do drive under influence. So those are the things overall, like you were saying, follow the regulations.
Yeah,
Don't question like, oh, this is racist against black. Don't do stupid thing. Simple like that.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So, if I can ask you maybe a final question. So, for now, you have been here over a year.
Yes.
Do you have any regret for you to come to America as a green card holder? Or is it still an opportunity for you either to succeed in America here, or you can plan later, let me get something, invest also in my home country? Do you regret to come to America? Or are you in the right line?
There is no regret. I think I'm in the right line because this is the one or the only source of correcting or getting a capital. So I can't regret while I can get a capital. So this is the right line. So how can I regret?
Yeah, that's I usually tell people, like, it depends on your plan, but overall this is an opportunity. It's just how you can use to maximize it in the end. There are some people, they come here, like for me, I go direct until become a citizen, but green card is not a citizenship. So you can continue to be a Tanzanian, you can continue to be Kenyan, wherever you want.
Yeah, you can have a free movement. So
Yes.
you can you're living in two countries without
you can come in America anytime without a visa.
Without a
You just
visa
get into the plane. I'm going home.
So
Yeah.
that is nice.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Christoper, for sharing about green card as a win of green card. And last year, for instance, like you didn't apply last year. The year before, there were almost like 18 million people who applied.
Okay.
Last year, it was 23 million people. So the odds of winning is higher. It is easier for an African national team like Tanzania or Kenya to win World Cup than someone to win a lottery, because 23 million people applied and they are taking 50,000. So even the odds of being stricken by the thunder is higher than the odds of winning the lottery. So you are the most luckiest person I know for winning the green card lottery. So congratulations, and I can say on behalf of the American people, welcome home.
Thank you.
And if you have any question, please put on the comments below. We'll be happy to answer any question you have. And when the other friend of ours is coming here, we'll have interview with him in 2 weeks to come, and he will share his experience, a brand new person in America for the first time as a green card holder. So all the best, everyone. Thank you so much.